better when you say it, because you got that sexy, romantic French thing happening. Fullmetal Alchemist. Or whatever it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
We might insult them with their bad French accents. I think we should stop before we get started.
Well, as long as we preface it by saying, I know my French accent sucks. So please don't take it as a... But I love you. Je t'aime. He shoots, he scores. I actually wrote my girl, you guys gave up her seat. I'll kill you. My girl's coming. I wrote a song for my girl called Je ne parle de mots, which translated means I don't have any words. Yes, it's like I have no words to express what I feel for you. She's just mad because I didn't write it for her. So hey, this is awesome. Apart from breaking your camera, this is great. We're so glad to be here. You, man, are huge. When did you grow so much?
I don't know, man.
Aaron is auditioning for Lurch in the new Addams Family movie. Or Herman Munster in the remake of The Munsters. Man, I have missed you. You guys, Maxie is doing an amazing job with Brotherhood, but there's only one Aaron Dismuke, and I love my little brother, Aaron. So I'm excited that we're here together.
Sorry, I'm putting that down.
What happened?
The thingy broke off the...
She broke it. The lanyard,
Yeah, the little...
the strap, the wrist strap.
The wrist strap. Okay. They don't
Hey,
care.
baby!
Good
This is
morning.
really annoying.
Get out of that seat.
Michelle.
We have a seat for you.
Can I tape it to the top of your head?
So here we are, and this is a panel about Fullmetal Alchemist. So if you came to talk about some other show, you're in the wrong place.
You can talk about it.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
No one else will answer it then. Is Brotherhood on up here?
No.
No, not yet?
Can you watch it
Man.
subtitled on Funimation?
Yep.
Funimation, right?
That's good. That's something.
Well, cool. Let's see. Should we introduce ourselves? Is that really a good idea?
You already
Crispin Freeman.
I'm Vic McDerpaderp.
I can't think of anything clever. I'm Aaron Dismuke.
Exactly. So I'll tell you what, let's go to question time. Let's just spend the time talking with you guys
God, an hour
about anything
question.
you'd like to talk about. Yes?
How did you guys get drawn into Fullmetal Alchemist?
Good. Good plan,
They
Laura.
chased us down. There was the tranquilizer gun involved. You're going to record this show, whether you like it or not.
No, actually, it was the other way. I was the one with the gun. You will cast me, or I'll pull the trigger. I swear. No, how about you? Tell them how you kind of came to be Windbreaker.
I was still very new at Funimation. I began working there in January of 2004. Sometime that summer, I believe, they had auditions for Fullmetal Alchemist, and up until that time, I had been doing some bit parts, and then I was cast in the lead of a show called Spiral. And so somebody heard me in that and said, make sure we have her audition for Fullmetal. I did. I read for Rose and Lust and Al.
No, wait a minute. I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
Okay, give us your best Lust.
Oh, she had a British accent because Justin asked me, "Do you do dialects?"
I would want to hear Lust with a British accent.
What did she say?
Say, Greed, don't eat the old preacher just yet.
Greed, don't eat the old preacher just yet.
That would have been cool.
Okay, now let's hear your best.
Alphonse, I want to hear that.
Alphonse.
Brother. Anyway, so those are the parts that I read for, okay, you're this little blonde girl. I'm like, all right. And, for a while, Winry doesn't do much. She just, important role. I said, is it? Apparently it was, because when I went to a convention that fall, and I was just there, I was not a guest, I was just at the convention. It's actually the first time I met him. Somebody on a panel pointed me out in the audience, like one of the other voice actors, said, oh, and then there's Caitlin, and she's new, and she's Winry, and everyone's like, pounding me the rest of the time. So that's how I ended up being a part of the show, and the second time around, I still live there, so I got to keep doing the part.
I had done several shows at Funimation. The first show that I did at Funimation, I lived in Houston, Texas, and I worked for ADV Films in Houston. And then I met some people at Funimation, and I started doing some work up there. I did Dragon Ball Z, and Yu Yu Hakusho, and Kitty Grade, and Case Closed, and Spiral. And then they got Fullmetal Alchemist, and I went up to audition for it. And they have this book, an audition folder, with sides, what they call sides, in it. It's basically one sheet of paper with a picture of the character, and then a paragraph describing the character, and then a handful of lines that the character would be likely to say. So, thank you. Is this vodka? Yeah, that's good. And so I went up and I was leafing through the book and looking at the different characters. Now, mind you, I knew nothing about Fullmetal Alchemist. Had never heard of it. I had recently done a show called Fullmetal Panic. And so I thought, well, this is like the same thing. It's the same words. So I'm looking through the book and I'm looking at different characters. And what you do as an actor is you'll try to identify roles that you feel like you might be able to do a good job with. So I saw like Armstrong and I'm like, okay, he's huge. He's probably got this big booming voice. That's not going to be me. So why read for him, right? And then I'm like, oh, who's this robot? Yeah, he's probably too young. I probably can't do him. Who's this? Roy Mustang. Oh, he looks stupid. So then I come across this little kid in a red coat. Now, mind you, I don't know the show, which means he may have 10 lines. I don't know how he plays into the show at all. So I'm reading the description, and I'm like, okay, so Justin, a cook who was at the time originally going to direct Fullmetal, before he was promoted, he came out of the studio and he said, hey, did you look at the sides? Who do you want to read for? And I said, well, I kind of like this red coat kid. He looks fun, and Justin got this little smile on his face, and he said, I hoped you would think that because I thought you might do a good job with him too. And we need to prepare an episode to premiere at Otakon in Baltimore in a handful of weeks. So I'm just going to have you record the whole first episode as that character. Now, I wasn't cast, mind you. I was just going to record it temporarily for them to have it ready for Otakon. Larkin Seal, who sang Ready, Steady, Go, was going to be a musical guest, so they wanted to have this big Fullmetal premiere that year. So I recorded the whole show, and when I did, I realized, oh, this kid's kind of important. He's like, in Fullmetal Alchemist, he's like the Fullmetal Alchemist.
Really?
So I loved it, and I knew nothing about it, but then started a big waiting game where they didn't cast, and didn't cast, and didn't cast. And I started getting these emails and finding out more about the show and realizing that it was a very popular show, just like Caitlin said. So ultimately, I got the call that I was going to be playing the character. And then I started getting emails saying, you better not screw it up. You guys, I had probably done 40 shows by that time, and I had never received an email from a fan saying, you better not screw up this anime. So that was the first indication that it was going to be a pretty big show, an important show that had a fan base, that people were paying close attention to the show and the English dub. So that's my story. Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, my story is... Mine's probably a lot like yours, except, looking at the characters, and it was really easy. I was like 11.
So you auditioned for Armstrong, basically. yes, it does.
Awesome. All right, so it was a lot like that, you know. I auditioned, had no idea what I was auditioning for. I hadn't done 40 shows, I'd done 2, and I had done.
Can I use your shoulder?
I think I'd done 2 episodic characters at that point. I'd done Hero and Fruits Basket, and yeah, he's kind of a jerk though. And I think I'd done Young Yusuke and Yu Yu Hakusho too, like in just one random episode, and so it was kind of a huge jump for me. Pretty much that show, watching Fullmetal Alchemist from beginning to finish, you're watching Aaron learn to act. Because I could read before, but I couldn't act, and it was pretty cool. So yeah.
He's kind of a prodigy, you guys. I mean, if I had a nickel for every email that I got that said, well, Aaron Dismuke became a voice actor at 11 years old, so I can, I'm 13, right? I'm like, well, Aaron's a genius. Aaron can read really good, which is important, and he had a really good demeanor and some natural ability. And so he was just quite an enigma to be doing what he was doing at his age. I remember Mike McFarlane telling stories about, you know, even though Aaron was a prodigy, he was still 11. So you lock an 11-year-old kid in a box, and within about a half an hour, he's like, let me out! So Mike McFarlane used to promise him, give me one more line, Aaron, and I'll let you go play Halo for 15 minutes. So he had to bribe him with video games.
Play Halo with the technical staff. I always had a big game going, like, they had 2 Xboxes hooked up, so it was 8 people total. Pretty awesome. Alright, Mario.
My arm's been floating in midair the whole time.
Use your shoulder. Why don't I have a tripod?
Well, like, you know that phrase, what would Jesus do?
I can't wait
It
to hear
really
this.
applies
What
to
would I do?
Alphonse. You can just ask yourself, what would Alphonse do as well?
Alphonse is Jesus.
I never knew. In a can. Jesus in a can.
I don't think I'll fit.
Beautiful image.
Alphonse is Jesus in a can.
You should write a song. Jesus in a can!
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a commercial video.
It does.
I've already been 15 minutes.
Aaron Dismuke.
My arm is okay. My arm again is like.
At night, he's the savior.
In a can.
In a can!
Savior in a can, that's what it should be.
Anyway, yeah. So how did our characters at all kind of rub off on us as people? Well, we kind of give life to them in a way, like without our voices, they're just drawings on the screen, but how we do that is actually dictated by their movements, the facial expressions, everything that's already been drawn. So, I don't know, I think almost to a degree we were chosen because our voices could